Okay, Transformers 1, 2024. Um, this is a good movie. This is a good movie. It took me a while to get into the movie and what they were doing with the movie. And for, I guess, an adult viewer like myself, I found the movie to be kind of cliche with some of the things, like, for example, being, and obviously this review is gonna have spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, please do so and click off. But if you have it, if you still haven't seen the movie and want to hear spoilers, and don't mind hearing them, and want to know what you're getting yourself into, come on. So hop on aboard the legendary SS Express as we talk about what happened here. So, just to get this out the way, like going into the movie, if you haven't seen the trailers like I have, because, well, first of all, me and my friends, we literally just found out that this movie just came out, the day of, I think, like, literally yesterday, I believe, or I think it probably came out before that, I don't know, like, we just all saw it on Friday, because, we didn't really have any plans, so we just wanted to go out and see a movie. So, we went out, I think it was like an MJR. No. It was like some sort of Imagine or something. I don't even know what the movie theater was called, to be honest with you. It was somewhere out in Romulus, Michigan. I don't even know. But anyway. So, going into the movie, you would assume that some of the characters in their roles would be the characters that we previously saw in the first Transformers movies. If you've seen the 2007 one, that movie. I was honestly surprised to see that Michael Bay was producing this movie. I honestly was surprised to see Michael Bay producing this movie, considering that I believe he was the one who made the what is it called? I forgot what Transform. I'm not a big Transformers fan. I remember that one movie he made that had Mark Wahlberg in it. I'm not being too specific. The Mark Wahlberg one, the one where Optimus Prime was basically evil. I forgot what movie that was. That movie was very bad up until we finally got to Optimus. So coming into this movie knowing that he was one of the producers, I didn't really have too much of my hopes up, considering that was the last Transformers movie I saw. But at the end of the day, I have to say this is a good movie, though I do have some complaints, of course, like I always do. First being the friendship between Optimus and Megatron, if you will. I feel like I don't mind the transformations. I think the transformations were very appropriate, and I like the way that they built them up. Where I guess his name was D14 or 19 or something like that, like D basically. He was a regular miner, day to day, and he believed in his heroes, and that being he believed that Sentinel Prime was this hero, basically. So basically, of course, never meet your idols, never meet your heroes, basically. He met his hero, and then he found out how much of a traitorous piece of shit he was, and then he basically, grew more evil and grew more vengeful throughout the course of the movie. And then he actually completed his goal, and he became like this evil, villainous type of guy by the end of the movie. And some of his actions are kind of justified. I'll get into which ones are. But I just want to go over him because I feel like his character arc was pretty much the best part of the movie, if you ask me. And so basically, he did all these villainous things. He actually killed Sentinel Prime, and he actually was gonna kill Optimus in the process. And then after he killed Sentinel Prime, he went on to kill each and every single one of his followers, even some of the innocent ones. So of course, mighty protagonist couldn't have that, and then he struck, and then he flew back up. And one thing I have to say about this movie is the fact that the fighting is actually pretty well done. Like, I was over here wincing along with the animation here, like, oh shit, like we getting some good fights here, like, bro, like, this movie's popping off. And that's another thing, the visuals are really good. The visuals are really good, bro. I will say that. The visuals are really good. The scene where they come up from the what's the name? Like, they come up from the mines, basically, I believe, and they go to the surface and they see how beautiful the sky is and how beautiful the landscape in and of itself is. I feel like that was probably the best scene of the movie thus far at that point, outside of B's introduction, which again I will get into. But yeah, I feel like up until the Megatron character arc, I felt like this movie felt very basic, and once you saw what they were doing, you kind of knew where this movie was gonna eventually end up. Not saying it was bad, I'm just saying it was pretty predictable. And for a guy that's seen many TV shows and movies, it was kind of predictable, you know what I'm saying? But nah, again, just good character arc though. Good character arc. I enjoyed him. Probably my favorite character in the movie outside of B. But yeah. Let me get to B. I like B. I think B was probably like by far the funniest character in the movie. I think we can all agree on that. And one thing about the comedy though, like, I feel like this movie at times tried a bit too hard to be funny. Like, it started treading like the MCU levels of comedy a bit, in Quantumania, where they just overdo the fucking shit. Oh my god, Jesus, that movie was so ass. But and let me get back to this because I don't want to have any PTSD. It's already starting to form, actually. But nah. That's one thing I will criticize the movie for. I feel like, and I guess this is technically a kid's movie, even though I think they use like one or two curse words throughout the entire movie. I remember like a quarter into the movie, I heard like what the hell, I think from either Orion Pex or I forgot who. No, I think it was the girl. I think it was the purple girl, Viltrumite. Or Vert something. I can't remember all the names. It's easier to remember Optimus and Megatron because, of course, we've heard those names for decades. But yeah, B was definitely the funniest part of the movie. The comedy was a little too over the top a bit for my taste, to the point where I was just sitting there with my arms folded, like, okay, like there were points where they tried some comedy and the whole theater was just quiet because, like, again, like, this is like the soft day and age where they try and have comedy triumph everything, like, they just, again, too much comedy. That's like one of the main problems with movies nowadays. I enjoy some good comedy in my movies, but you producers, y'all niggas just be overdoing the fuck out of it. Like y'all gotta start finding that nice balance, you know what I'm saying? No Way Home started, like, up until, like, the, like, for example, and spoilers on Spider-Man No Way Home for God knows whoever hasn't seen that movie. Spider-Man No Way Home, up until the point where Goblin shows his true intentions when Peter was trying to turn everyone, normal, or good, basically. And he was fixing all the villains and stuff, and getting rid of, some people's powers. Up until that moment, that movie was so comedic. Very comedic. Like, almost too comedic, honestly. Like, even the part where everyone found out that this nigga was Spider-Man. Like, bro, like you can't take things seriously for a moment. Like, you can't have this man actually being, like, legitimately scared that, like, you could let it sink in that people knew who he was. Like, Anyway, going off of that, again, too much comedy. That's all I wanted to say. B was actually he was a treat. He was a treat, man. I feel like out of all the characters, he made me laugh the most. I think he made me laugh like 2 or 3 times throughout the entire movie. Like the badassatron shit. like when he was talking to the girl and they were walking like on the surface, and he like said it like 2 or 3 times. Like that shit. I found myself chuckling a little bit more than I thought. So B was funny. I like his voice actor. I feel like he did a really good job. And definitely one of the bright spots in the movie for me. Definitely. Okay, moving on from that. The girl. I feel like all the prominent female characters in this movie were, I would say, much stronger than the men in some cases. Like even without the core, like the girl, like again, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm about to look it up right now. So Alita is her name. Alita. Oh, interesting. And I found out Scarlett Johansson was actually voice acting her, which was funny to me because she did sound very familiar. So it's good to know that was like a familiar voice actor there. So basically Alita and this one Spider-Woman, like it's like they made the female characters almost stronger than the men. And even when Alita didn't have her core, like when the three were B, B, Megatron and Optimus or Orion Pax or whatever you would call them. Basically, when they were chasing her, like she was out, like she was basically like a whole like D1 athlete. Like she was just over here like jumping over these boxes and stuff. Like it's like they tried to make the female characters look even stronger than the men. And I don't want to go too deep into that because I feel like the feminists out there are gonna really pierce, like try and attack me or something. But I feel like movies nowadays, they again, like same thing with the comedy, like they need to find that balance where you don't make the female characters look stronger than the men. But it might make sense because Alita, she seems much more diligent, she seems much more focused than them initially, and she was like she did have a higher position than they did in like the mine. So it's possible she probably worked out or something. Okay, I'm not saying she hasn't. So I'm just saying they love to make their female characters look strong, and they definitely did in this movie. I'm not saying that's a problem. It's just sometimes don't make the men look like bitches. That's really all I'm trying to say. Anyway, so Alita was cool. B was one of my favorite characters in the movie, top 2 probably. And Orion Pax, I guess, because yeah, it's just these 4. Orion Pax, he was alright. I mean, and it does fit his name. Like, I like the conversation between him and Alita, and how he's the Optimus one, and he's always doing all of these things to be, because he's an Optimist, so he's always trying to think outside the box and doing things that other people aren't doing. And it did fit, some of his actions at the beginning of the movie, where he went in on his own to try and look at the history, and then he had him and D basically go into the Icon 500 or 5,000 or whatever it's called, and they got into the race because of his own, optimism and own, so yeah. He's still a piece of shit though. Basically all of this is his own fault. I mean, for good reason, I will say that, but at the same time, in the process of his own optimism, he lost his best friend. So, it is what it is, though. The transformation scene was dope. Can't lie. I got some chills, like when this man. Yeah, I got some chills in my veins. I can't even lie. Like the kid in me really got chills seeing them all transform when they finally got their core. So that was really cool. I thought the Spider Lady was cool. I thought she looked pretty cool. I like how they used her eyes and whatnot. Sentinel Prime, his design looked really cool. And again, I feel like it really took me a while to really get into the whole movie and to really lose myself, because I feel like 50% of the movie just felt boring. Like, in the mines and all this stuff. Like, it felt, again, it felt cliche and generic. And again, like, you know, like the two characters, you know, they're in their average day life, and then they, you know, they're in their average day life, and then they get into this wild adventure that's going to change their lives, etc., etc. Like I've seen that trope multiple times already. So again, I mean, I apologize if I'm angering some of the kids out here, but it is what it is, man. It's great to see all these characters in a different form. I do appreciate it like that. Along with some of the refreshing comedy that was in the movie, I did, you know, like some of it. Like I said, the ending really carried this movie though for me. I can't even lie. The final scene really picked up things for me. And this is where people on TikTok I saw, which is what made me and my friends go to the movie theater, because we saw the ratings on TikTok of people overrating the shit out of the movie. Oh, it's a 10 out of 10, you know, oh, it's on Spider-Verse level. I'm like, what? Like, bro, I'm over here watching this movie halfway through the movie before the transformation scene, and I'm like, Spider-Verse level? You, like, it had to have been some kid, or like Spider-Verse level? Look, Transformers 1 was a good movie, y'all, but to compare it to either Spider-Verse movie is a wild statement. It's a wild statement, dog. I mean, hey, if you enjoyed the movie more than Spider-Verse, then yeah, that's you, but Spider-Verse is wild. Like, that, low-key, if you ask me, I think Spider-Verse last year was like the best movie of the year. I don't think anything else topped it outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think 2 or 3 other movies I've seen that year that I can't really think of right now, but yeah. Yeah, now Spider-Verse was a movie of the year contender, bro. This movie was good, but this movie was good and arguably really good, but it was carried by the ending, honestly, and it was something that I kind of saw coming. But like I said, though, the ending scene really carried this movie, with Megatron finally getting, you know, unhooked, unchained, and then he went on to kill Sentinel. And this dude was a whole tank, bro. Like it was so cool. And so basically, he split him in half. You know, he's going ham. And then as he was no. Before that, before he split him in half, so he was trying to kill him basically, and Optimus stopped him, and he said that you know that's enough. You know, we gotta keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? We can't be out here killing our own. That's enough. You know, him trying to be the hero here. So basically, Optimus gets in his way one too many times, and then he shoots him in the shoulder. And then this nigga, you know, dramatically, like he's in some goddamn soap opera, like, D, why? and then you know, D, aka Megatron, you know, says like, I'm done picking up your slack, I'm done picking up your mistakes, and rightfully so, because up until this point, this nigga got fucking Megatron into this mess, so you know, I fuck with it. And then he falls, and then low-key, bro, I thought the movie was gonna end there. Like, I would have been so stoked if the movie would have ended there, bro. I wouldn't have had no complaints whatsoever. Bro, dog, if they would have ended the movie there, that would have been, like, one of the best endings I would have seen in a long time. But, you know, of course, you know, this is the origin story, and Optimus isn't gonna die like that, quote-unquote. So he rises up from the ashes, and he has this dope-ass transformation scene. I can't even lie, bro. Bro came in looking raw as hell. I can't, bro. Like, when this man landed on the ground up above, bro, nah, that shit was raw. And then this man, Megatron's eyes are changing into red. And this was a good origin. This was a really good origin story. I feel like the fights were good, the visuals were good, the fights were good, the visuals were good, the comedy was a little over the top at times, but it was still good. I'd still count that as good. The story was good, though I would say cliche at many parts for my taste. but still good. The execution of everything I thought was really good. The build-up had me bored, to be honest with you, but overall I think this is a good movie, and I'd give this score a light 8, like a light 8 out of 10, to be honest with you. Like, before the ending and before the execution thing, I was gonna give it like a 7.5, but with that strong ending, I'd give it like a light to a solid 8, 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. I don't know if this is like the start of like a trilogy or something, but I mean, hey, if they're gonna have a trilogy, I mean, I'm all for it. But I don't think they are. I think this is just like the first origin story, and I mean, still a pretty good movie though, bro. I can't complain. Thought all the characters were cool in some way. And yeah, man. Again, like I said, I'm not the biggest Transformer fan. I'm not that big into the lore like other people are, but still a cool movie. If you were to tell me that this was the best Transformers movie of all time, low-key, I don't even think there's any competition for it. If there is, please tell me in the comments, because I'm not really that caught up on Transformers. But if you were to tell me, like, from all the movies that I can remember, this was probably the best Transformers movie. Like, especially from a storytelling aspect, like the story and the execution of the ending, I thought was really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. That's all I wanted to get off my chest. My headphones are about to die at any moment, and yeah, man, that's really about it. Peace.